What's going on, my Century unit? It's the Centuryman here. So, haven't done a tier list video in ages. The last one I did was the Chelsea, ranking Chelsea managers the best and worst. That was the only tier list video or live stream I did on this channel. I said I'll plan to do more of these in the foreseeable future. Whether it's football or wrestling. And I think this is the last one I'll do on football because the reason why, before I get to this live stream, I'm doing a football. I'm creating a new sports channel called Central Sports. That'll be probably next week. I'm planning to do this. I'm planning to start doing live streams on sports, whether it's football, rugby, not really tennis. I'm not into tennis or American sports. That will be in a few months' time. With football, I'll be after the Euros. So I'll do any football related content on the new channel. In the couple of weeks, in the foreseeable weeks. I'm trying to say. I was planning to do for anything. I'm planning to do streams on this channel, but unfortunately there was too much content. So the last footballing stream I done on this channel was England's game against Italy. It's the qualification game to qualify for this Euros. So I'm ranking England's major tournament performance, best and worst. 1966 to 2022. I know we're still in Euro 2024. I'm not. I'm gonna get. I might do an update. Probably in 2 years' time for the 2026 World Cup. But so far we're still in the tournament, so I'll talk about England's performance at Euro 2024 for the foreseeable future. So let's talk about England's tournaments between 1966 to 2022. So I'm gonna share this, and I'm gonna go back and forth. Depending on people's chatting on the chat. Comment on the chat. If not, who cares, man? Anyway, go share screen. And yeah. So here's the scenario. So we got best, is England's, ranked for best in green of England's best performance, even though we won one tournament. We've done well in the tournament, do fine, doing good. And I put middle in the orange, we're doing okay, average / okay. And the worst is the worst. So we got World Cup 1966 to the last World Cup in Qatar. So yeah, we're not going. We're not. I clicked it. How do I get back on? One second. I'll remove it. On the stage. Anyway, so try it again. I'll try it again. Sorry, I just accidentally clicked it. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna do the scenario again. Explain the scenario again. So we've got green as best. England's probably ranked some of England's tournaments as best. Even though we won one World Cup, but we had some moments where done well in a major tournament, whether it's World Cups or Euros. The middle in orange is average, or we done okay in a major tournament, and the worst is just we done poor. Even though some of these tournaments, you see are way before my time, most of them. Some are in my lifetime. So yeah. We're going to start with 1966, and you know what I'm going to put? Best. You know why I say best? Because we won the World Cup. It was in our home country. Like, you know, with I think in the group stages, drew we're drawing our group. I think we were in group 1 or something. I can't remember. It's like, even though it's before my time, I'm gonna say throughout the stream, and also, I'm not glorifying winning. That's gonna be the buzzwords for the stream. But in our group we drew against we draw with Uruguay, I think France and Mexico, and we drew against Mexico. Not drew against Mexico. I think we beat Uruguay. No, we drew against Uruguay, beat France and Mexico. Then we beat Argentina in the quarterfinals. Most of England's games in that tournament was at Wembley. And then beat Argentina, beat Portugal. I think Bobby Jones got a cracking goal. And then we got the World Cup final. You could say this is years before the last World Cup final between France and Argentina, the 6-goal thriller. But I think probably the best tournament, England's best tournament, best match of that World Cup. Even though for my time, hands up. But you got Jeff Hurst scoring a hat trick. I think the third goal in extra time was not over the line. It's over the line. It's like, this is decades before the whole goal line technology. It was the linesman was from Azerbaijan. Give us the goal. I think it was Martin Peters and only Jeff Hurst. Jeff Hurst scored scored a hat trick. You got the commentator says, "You think it's all over? Is now." That's got to be one of the most iconic lines in English sport. And seeing the picture of Bobby Moore lifting the Jules Rimet trophy, it was the only time we won a major tournament. And it's really sad. Most of the players who won the World Cup in 1966 are no longer with us. The only member who's still alive to this day is Jeff Hurst, who scored the hat trick. He was he was the first. I think he was the first guy to score a hat trick in a World Cup final, and then that record lasted about 56 years until Kylian Mbappe did it in the last World Cup against Argentina in Qatar. So I put England's performance at the 1966 World Cup best. So let's move on to the next tournament. By the way, some of the tournaments, this is England qualifying those World Cups in Euros. So, there was no World Cup. We didn't qualify. The only tournaments we didn't qualify were the World Cups of 74. Yeah, it was 74. It was 74, 74, 78, 94. And the Euros, I'm trying this video say 66 up to 2022, 72, 76, 84, and 2008. So we failed to qualify in 9 tournaments, or 8. Yeah, failed to qualify in 8 tournaments. I think it was 4 World Cups, and I think that's 4 World Cups. So I'm losing count, by the way. So it was 74, 76. No, sorry, 74, 78. It's a bit late. My memory's a bit tired. So it's 74, 78, and 1994. And then the Euros, we failed to qualify for Euro 72, 76, 84, and 2008. So 8 major tournaments we failed to qualify. Not putting the Nations League. Even though I don't really call that a tournament, I don't really call it. It's just a mini tournament. But anyway, so. And also, as my dad's memory, rest in peace to my dad. He actually saw the World Cup final because he was a teenager at the time. But it's got to be one of the most iconic moments in British sport. Anyway, let's move on to the next tournament. That is Euro 68 I think it was in Italy. It was a knockout tournament. I think we got knocked out. I think we finished third or fourth. It was a knockout, only a 14 tournament. I think it was Yugoslavia knocked us out with Italy. I can't remember, even though it's before my time. Hard to really say. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. It's just like it's a knockout tournament. You lose, you go home. It's not like the Euros right now. You got your group stage, then a knockout. Back then, the early stages of the Euros, it's just a knockout tournament. You lose, you're gone. Hard to say. Can't say middle. I'm gonna go worse. Probably worse, man, because I think England entered that tournament as world champions. They're going to become probably the first nation to win the World Cup and the Euros. Unfortunately, we didn't. Only two nations won the World Cup and Euros or three actually, is France, Germany, and Spain. But knocked out. I think it's got to be Yugoslavia. Yeah, they reached the semi-finals, but it was a knockout tournament. It was just like a 14 tournament. Not 14, but it's a 4-team tournament. 4 teams. It's a knockout tournament. You got, I think, you lose, you get knocked out. But England probably, I can't really say it. I think it's more, some of these tournaments I put was very forgettable. People don't really talk about it. Some people remember it like in a different way. Some people just don't remember it. People don't remember Euro 68. I think it was Yugoslavia 1-0. It might be Italy. Might be wrong. I'm not gonna look at the chat the whole time. So I'm gonna focus on ranking these tournaments. So it's hard to say middle, but it's hard. It's difficult. I can really play it in the middle, but worse. It's just we got knocked out by 1 game. So if it was a different format, maybe I can put middle, but it's hard to say. So anyway, let's move on to the next World Cup or the next tournament. So we got the next World Cup in Mexico in 1970. England were the defending champions. Probably I'm going to put it in the middle, even though, like I said, it's going to be a buzzword throughout the stream. Before my time, so I think it's a middle tournament. England I think they won. England finished second in the group. People talk about the Brazil game. I think Gordon Banks save, but we got knocked out in the quarterfinals by West Germany. They got their revenge because we beat them at the last World Cup in the final at Wembley at home soil, and then West Germany 4 years later beat us in Mexico. I think England were 2-0 up, and then they dropped Gordon Banks to Peter Benetti, who kind of conceded 3 goals, and then I think Gerd Muller was one of the goal scorers. Unfortunately, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals. I put it in the middle. If we really beat Germany, would we beat Italy? Because they end up getting beaten by Italy. Probably I think we'll get knocked out by Italy. We'll probably have a drop-off in quality if we reach the semi-finals. But the quarterfinals, I think, probably an okay tournament for England, even though, like I said, before my time. I think, I think it's the first World Cup in colour. This World Cup in 66 was in black and white. I think it was the first World Cup broadcast in colour. And then, Brazil went on to win that year's World Cup. If we beat Brazil, would we retain it? Because Brazil, to this day, are the first and only nation to win the World Cup back-to-back in 58 and 62. So England performs at 1970. I can't remember who was in the group. I don't want to look it up. So I'm going to look it up a little bit. Sometimes I end up forgot. We're in Group 2, Romania and Czechoslovakia. So we'll beat Romania, lost to Brazil 1-0. Jairzinho, and yeah, it was. I say D. I put the middle was the right. I think in the middle was good. And let's say Euro. Yeah, I think 1968 Euro. Euro 68. The four teams are England, Yugoslavia, Soviet Union, and Italy, the host, and then went on to win the tournament. And we got knocked out by Yugoslavia 1-0, and we finished third. So I'm going to change it. You know what? I'm going to change it into the middle. I'm going to, we finished third. People don't remember Euro 68. Even though like I said, it's a knockout tournament back then compared to the Euros you see right now, with the 16-man format or the current format you see right now. So anyway, so the 1970 World Cup was probably England's last major tournament for 12 years, because we missed out of 2 Euros, in 76, 72 and 76. Sorry, I'm a bit late. My mind's not. I'm a bit tired, but we missed out of 2 Euros. That was in 72 and 76, and two World Cups in 74 and 78. So the next Euros, and also speaking of a group. And speaking of the 1966 World Cup, it was Mexico. It was Mexico, France, Uruguay. And we're in, Group 1. Against Uruguay. Yeah, I was right, being Mexico and France. I was right. Sorry, my memory's a bit all over the place. So I'm going to type in 1980 Euros. That's England's probably first major tournament in 12 years. Like I said, we missed out 2 World Cups and 2 Euros in the 70s. Moving on to the 1980s, we're in Group 2, and this is a group stage, and you got only the top team advancing to the final, and the second place into the third place playoff. So no knockout. So basically no knockout. There was no knockout football. There's no semi-finals. You just go qualify to the actual final. England are in Group 2. We draw alongside Belgium, Italy, and Spain. Drew against Belgium. And looking at the results, lost to Italy and won against Spain. Wasn't enough. Finished third. I think it was not bad. I don't know, man. I think I call it worse, because we didn't, I think it was, I don't know, it's inconsistent. I say it's poor, because we didn't fail to get out of the group. If we reach the semi-finals, we can put it middle, or not semi-finals, or the third place playoff, we might finish third, put it in the middle. My mind's a bit all over the place. If we finish, reach the semi-finals, or keep saying semi-finals, if we reach the third place playoff, we'll probably put England's performance at Euro 80 in the middle. But with it, since I play in the worst, we failed to get out of the group. So it's the worst. It's just what it is, man. I don't want to get into it, even though it's before my time. So let's move on to the next tournament. That is Spain 82, the World Cup, England's first. It was 8 years, actually. 8 years. So I'm lying. The World Cup 82 was England's first World Cup in 12 years. To compete. 82. And check the tournament. And I think it has some good talent. Even though it's before my time, I don't really check the team. I don't want to check the players, man. Try to keep it short and simple. England. boy, we're in Group 4 alongside France, Czechoslovakia, that's now the Czech Republic, and Kuwait. Past that group, and boy, and then we got and this is the only World Cup. This is the time the World Cup was doing like a second group stage. The Champions League ended up doing that in the 2000s, and then they kind of scrapped that and then just do a knockout stage instead of it's I think it's a group stage, and then you end up qualifying for a semi-final. England in the group in the second group stage we draw alongside West Germany and Spain. Crashed out, in the Spain game. Kevin Keegan missed that header. We'll probably end up qualifying for the semi-finals. Since then, I think you could say middle tournament. Even though before my time, I play in the middle. At least we'll get past the first group stage. Second group stage, I think he has some good talent, even though it's before my time. I don't know, man. It's like it's won by Italy. I don't want to go into these tournaments that well in details because it's before my time. I do it like educational purposes. Before VAR and goal line technology in the Premier League. I think he missed them. I think he missed the whole bit of the tournament due to injury. So got past the first group stage, beating the French. I think you had Michel Platini and co. An easy group, and then Germany and Spain. Spain lost to Northern Ireland. Probably you could say it's an average tournament, average performance. It's England's first World Cup in 12 years since. You missed a lot of tournaments in the 70s. The only tournament they qualified was the World Cup in Mexico in 1970. Since then, like I said, missed out World Cup 74, 78, Euros of 72 and 76. So it was a barren year for English football for the English national side. And then, the tournaments, 80 was a bit poor. 82 World Cup in Spain was a better tournament than their performance at the Euros 2 years prior. So let's move on to the next tournament, World Cup 1986, because we didn't qualify for Euro 84. Not best performance, I'll put it in the middle as well. That was managed by Bobby Robson. And I forgot to mention this, when I'm doing my football channel, I'll do the same tier list. I'm going to rank England managers, to Alf Ramsey to Gareth Southgate. That's another future video for another time. Anyway, let's get back to this video. So, anyway, England at the 1986 World Cup in Mexico. Remember, I watched some educational videos over the years of Mexico 86. England draw, can't remember what group. We'll draw alongside Portugal, Morocco, and Poland. England qualified. I think it was back then it's the same format as the Euros right now, a 24-man team tournament. The group winners, and I think it was the group winners and the runners-up advanced into the knockout stages, the last 16. The third, I think it's the fourth best third place teams also qualified to the knockout stages. And I'm going to check Mexico 86. Mexico 86. I'm checking. Jeez. Chicken. We're in Group F. We draw, like I said, draw against Portugal, Morocco, Poland. Lost to Portugal, drew against Morocco, and beat Poland. So it's an okay tour. So okay performance. A bit poor in the group stage, knockout stage. Beat Paraguay. Everyone knows that quarterfinal against Argentina. Maradona's hand of God. and he scored, I think it's one of the best goals of all time in the history of football. I'm not going to get into it. Like I said, some of these tournaments are before my time. I wasn't even born, but you could say this was England's okay tournament World Cup. You know, I think they got cheated by Argentina. Like, what did we win it? Hard to say. If Maradona didn't score the hand of God, you know, we'll probably get beat. I think probably got beaten on penalties or extra time, or we'll probably beat Belgium. I don't know. I think we could probably beat Belgium, and we'll probably lost to Germany. So yeah, I think it's hard to say. We can't know. It's kind of what ifs, man. But the World Cup in '86, probably England's okay performance of the World Cup. You know, reaching a quarterfinal, even though they got cheated. It's heartbreaking, but they kind of recovered from the group stage. You know, they had a poor performance in the group stage. You know, lost to Portugal. You know, and I think this is Portugal's first win against England since 1966. You know, we haven't beat Portugal ever since. You know, we haven't fought them in the World Cup. We won't face Portugal. We won't face Portugal in the World Cup. It'll be 20 years later in 2006. We'll get to 2006 later on, and they beat us in 2 Euros. You know, Euro 2000 and Euro 2004. So yeah, England's performance against Portugal in major tournaments were very poor. We haven't been since World Cup 1966. So anyway, yeah, Portugal 90. Yeah, the World Cup in '86. You know, decent tournament, but yeah, unlucky Maradona. You know, Argentina. You know, and also they got their revenge over England since we beat them in the quarterfinals of the World Cup 20 years earlier. So anyway, let's move on to the next tournament. That is Euro 88. Poor. Very poor. You know, I think Group 2. Group 2, I'm going to type it. 1988. It was in West Germany. And it's in Germany right now, you know. For this Euros, I'll talk about the Euros in a future video. Euro 88. Group 2, we're drawing against the Netherlands, Republic of Ireland, and the Soviet Union. It was Ray Houghton's goal, even though it was before my time, actually. You know, and then horrifying tournament, you know. I think we failed to get out of the group. Scored 2 goals? That is actually piss poor. You know, an easy group. You got the Dutch. You know, you got the 2 Dutch players playing for AC Milan. Or playing for AC Milan. Ireland, you got like a match by former 1966 World Cup winner Jack Charlton. You know, people criticize Ireland over the years of being England's B team because they inherited a lot of English-based players who just basically kind of are not good enough to play for England. You know, don't get me wrong. You know, I can't really judge about Euro 88. I wasn't alive. I'm 30 years of age. You know, I never understand. You know, I think that's probably England's worst performance in the Euros. You know, an easy group, failed to get out of the group, only scored 2 goals. I think, lost to Ireland, lost to Holland, lost to the Soviet Union, won by the Dutch in the final. You know, and that was Holland's only major tournament win. You know, they're like us. You know, every time we, you know, do well in the tournament or go into the tournament, we end up flopping. So let's move on to the next tournament. We got Italia 90. That's for most English fans, you know, the people grew up, it was probably their memories at the time. So the 80s was a bit mixed bag, you know, Euro 80, poor, 80 World Cup, you know, the World Cups, their World Cup performances were decent, you know, but their Euro performance were poor, you know, crashing out in the group stages of Euro 80 and Euro 88. So moving on to the 1990s, we got like I said, we got World Cup 1990 or Italia 90. This is probably England's best performance at a World Cup, even though it's before my time. I'm gonna say it again, before my time. Yeah, it was England's probably best tournament since 1966. Even though we didn't win it, like you got like Gary Lineker who won the Golden Boot in '86. We got Paul Gascoigne. I got England's Italian '90 shirt in my room. It's not it's a replica. It's only a replica one. It's not the actual real one, but it's more. I think that kit's so iconic. With the sleeves and the Umbero symbols around. They got the collar and you got the Umbero sleeves on the arm portion of the shirt. My sister got the I think it's the red, the away one, the red one, or the blue one. England draw. I don't know. I know what they draw against the Irish. The Irish, the Dutch. The same competitors. They beat England at the last Euros in '88, and Egypt. This is decades before Mo Salah, by the way. They reached the semi-finals. In the group stages. Which draw. Like I said, draw against. We're in Group F. Similar from Mexico '86. Ireland, Holland, and Egypt. Drew against the Irish. Drew against the Dutch. I think the Dutch game I've seen, they were beating the Dutch. They were outclassed against the Dutch. I think they got screwed against the Dutch. They should have beat them 2 or 3-0. I think it was Lineker's goal. One of the goals was disallowed. The free kick was disallowed. Yeah, they got fucking screwed by the Dutch, but they beat Egypt. And then you got the group stage, and then you got the last 16. England got beat Belgium. That David Platt's volley. You ever seen it? If you've seen compilation clips of David Platt's goal against Belgium, it was good. It was a half volley going against Belgium. They beat Cameroon. They're kind of like the dons of the tournament. And then we're facing Germany for the first time since Mexico 1970. Actually, they've been in '82. They fought against 1980. Actually, we fought in 1982, nil draw. But this is the England-Germany rivalry gets really up, really took up a level. We beat them in 1960. We beat them in 1966. They beat us in 1970. I feel they knocked us out in the qualification campaign of Euro '72, and then we drew in '82 in the World Cup in the second group stage, and now we got the semi-finals in 1990. I think Bremer scored that free kick, deflected by Paul Parker. Lineker scored the equaliser, and then you see the picture of Paul Gascoigne. I've got his the shirt with the 19 on it. He's kind of like the don of the tournament. He fouled the German player, got booking. He got booked because if England beat the Germans on that night, he'll probably miss the final. He had that crying. You got Gary Lineker did that. It's like this. It was Bobby Robson. Kind of my iconic game in English sport, or mostly in English football since the World Cup World Cup final in 1966. That game against Germany. Gaz is crying, Lineker doing that, and unluckily, Chris Waddle missing that penalty, or not penalty. He hit the post. It was actually going in. It was just hit the post. It was inches away. People will talk about Italian '90 much, very, very positive of winning it. I got to think in this game, if one of them wins that game, they'll probably go on to win that World Cup. If Germany beat us, they end up winning that World Cup in Italy. But if we won it, we'll probably go on to beat Argentina and win that World Cup. Getting revenge of Argentina. But unfortunately, penalties. Stuart Pearce missing that penalty. Chris Waddle skied the ball up past over the crossbar. He kind of skied it over the stadiums, probably in outer space now. But yeah, it was probably another iconic moment in English football. It's England's best. This is England's best performance at a World Cup since 1966. Even though we didn't win it, Gaza. I think Gaza was the highlight point of the tournament. Even though, for my time, hands up, this is 1990. I was born in 1994. So let's move on to the next tournament. That is, Euro 92. Worse. I think we're in Group 1. Group 1. An easiest group. By the way, this Euro, I think like World Cup 86 to Italian 90, that was managed by Bobby Robson. Even though he kind of led England to Euro 88. Euro 92 was managed by Graham Taylor. And this was Graham Taylor's only major tournament because he failed to qualify for the next World Cup in America. I watched that documentary. It's on YouTube, man. I don't know. I do not like that. It's just. Anyway, so yeah, we're drawing against Group 1. We'll draw in Group 1 with Sweden, who's the host nation. Denmark, who qualify after Yugoslavia were banned due to that war. Look it up. The French, drawing against Denmark, drawing against the French. But that's people talk about the Swedish game negatively because you got Graham Taylor subbing off Gary Lineker. If we stand, we're in the semi-finals. But I think overall England's tournament performance was poor, and most of the players who performed at Italian 90 were no longer with that team. Some were injured, and some are retired. So anyway, so you had that. I think it's a Brolin's goal. It was a volley past Chris Woods. Give Sweden that win and dump England out of the Euros. Graham Taylor got shtick. You got that media post. You got took the piss of. You had Graham Taylor. It basically says Swede 2 turnips 1, calling Graham Taylor a turnip because he sub up Gary Lineker, who's trying to break Bobby Robson's record of being England's all-time goal scorer. He's very close of that record. But anyway, so if you were like, I think England will win it. I think they'll get knocked out by the Dutch or the Germans. I think it was a poor performance. Probably England's poor performance so far. So far England's 68. You could say an okay tournament. We finished third, but so far in this video, they had poor performance at the European. Their record in the Euro so far in this video are not so good. Crash out in the group stages of Euro 80, 88, and now 1992. So this is Graham Taylor's only major tournament because the next tournament was World Cup 94. We didn't qualify, so the next tournament in this stream, Euro 96 when football came home. This is our best performance so far, and until Euro 2020 or 2021, I'll get to that later. Euro 96 when football comes home. I see a lot of videos of it. It's got to be England's best. Probably people in the 90s mostly grew up of Italian 90 and Euro 96. That's probably the best decade for the England national team. Even though we didn't win those tournaments, we had a good performance in those tournaments. Like England drew against. I'm talking about in our group. We would draw alongside Sweden, Scotland, and the Netherlands. Drew against the Swiss, beat the Scots. Paul Gascoigne did that. I think did that goal. It's so iconic, and we beat the Dutch. The Spanish game, I saw on. You can find it on ITV's YouTube channel. Probably England's worst performance. Like they're very lucky Spain. that goal was disallowed. They should have beat us 2-0. I think they should have won a penalty. But the Spain game, we managed to win a penalty shootout in any tournament. So far, we got beat by the Germans at Italia 90. But David Seaman saving those penalties. I think we won 4-2 on penalties. 4-2 on penalties. 4-2 on pens. It was 4-2 on pens. That's got to be that's our that's probably our best performance in a penalty shootout. Like it was at Wembley. Unfortunately, we got knocked out in the semi-finals by the Germans. Shearer scored the opener. The Kuntz scored. Kuntz. It's really funny. That's probably get in trouble back for saying that. It's very close saying the word cunt. I don't get my channel demonetized because I don't get paid. But Shearer, Kuntz, and then you got Paul Gascoigne missing that great opportunity because back then they had the golden goal rule. He had that was probably a shock. Shearer Gaza was inches away. That's probably Gaza's probably best tournament since Italian 90 because he missed I think Euro 96, not Euro 96, Euro 92 due to injury. They missed out of the next World Cup in America. And this is probably Gaza's last tournament. He's probably his truly best tournament, And he had inches away becoming England's all-time hero. People talk about Gaza, whether it's his talent or he's on the bender. It's just like, you got the penalty. Unfortunately, we fall in that penalty shootout slot. With that trap door. I'm trying to say. Gareth Southgate, who's to this day he's now England's current manager, missing that crucial penalty. It was the fifth penalty, and then the Germans beat us 6-5. 1 second, I need to plug my laptop. It's unlucky, man. We could won that tournament. Beat Chile. I think like the German game from 6 years ago. I forgot I mentioned Stuart Pearce scoring that penalty against Spain in that penalty shootout contest. It really vanquished the demons when he missed that penalty in that semi-finals of the World Cup in 1990. Also, speaking of comparing the Germany game from 1990 to the Germany game in 96, if one of them wins that game in that semi-final, probably went on to win that Euros, and if England beat the Germans, we'll probably win the Euro 96. Unfortunately, we're shaking off that penalty shootout tag, but it'll be a common trend of England in major tournaments. So, lost to the Germans in 1990, beat the Spaniards in 96, and also lost the Germans again in the semi-finals of Euro 96. So, let's move on to the next tournament. And the next tournament we got is France 98, probably in the middle. And this is this is England's okay tournament. Actually, it was an average tournament. Even though it was before my time, I was around. I was 4 years old, but it was really an average tournament. To be fair, I think it was the first tournament with the 32 team format. I wish they could continue doing this. Because the next World Cup in America is going to be 48 teams. Don't understand why they did that. It's actually asinine, but that's another topic for another time. The group stages. Going into this, we came off of that good Euros. We're into this World Cup, probably one of the favourites of the tournaments in France. We're in Group G alongside Romania, Colombia, Tunisia. Beat Tunisia, lost to Romania, beat Colombia, and people talk about this Argentina game. First off with Michael Owen's goal, that goal. People talk about Owen's goal, 26 years to this day. And also David Beckham got sent off, stamping future Atletico Madrid manager Diego Simeone. I think Sol Campbell's goal was disallowed in extra time. That could be, I don't know, or maybe it was normal time. You know, if it was extra time back then, you had the golden goal rule. We're probably advancing to the quarterfinals. But unfortunately, once again, we got penalty shootouts. You know, unfortunately, once again, we got knocked out. But this time by Argentina. You know, for the second tournament we faced them, they beat us. You know, we won in 1966. And now Argentina beat us in 1986, and now they just beat us again in 1998. You know, I think it was Paulins and David Batty missing those penalties. That if we would have won this, we'll probably get knocked out. We'll probably get beat by the Dutch. Dennis Bergkamp scored that great goal. You know, even though it's before my time. Hands up, see, hands up. Yeah. To be fair, it's an average performance for England in a World Cup. You know, yeah, the 90s for England is probably their best decade. Even though we didn't have no trophies, you know, hands up, not glorifying losing, you know, reached the semi-finals of Italia 90 and Euro 96, and we had an okay average performance at France 98, and even though we had a poor performance at Euro 92, and also we failed to qualify for USA 94, so it was probably a good decade for the English national team, and also we got the rise of the Premier League, you know. So let's move on to the next tournament. It's the first tournament of the new millennium, the 2000s. We got Euro 2000. Poor. Absolutely poor. It's a massive drop-off of our performance at Euro 96. It was at England. Football came home to, Euro 2000. It was the first Euros co-hosted. It was co-hosted by Belgium and the Netherlands. And this is the start of the kind of like, you could say the start of the golden generation. We've still got Beckham and Owen. Group A, we're drawn alongside Germany, Portugal, and Romania. We lost to Portugal in the opening game. Oh, click the wrong one. No comments. Anyway, lose to Portugal in the opening game. We were 2-0 up. Luis Figo scored that cracking goal. And then we beat Germany in the next game. Probably England's first win against Germany since the 1966 World Cup final. You could say it vanquished the demons of Mexico 1970 in the quarterfinals. They knocked us out in the qualification campaign of Euro 72. You know, we drew in Spain in 1982. But vanquished the demons of Italia 90 in the semi-finals, and the last Euros in 1996. So it was a weakened German team. And then in the final game against Romania, we need a win or draw to advance into the quarterfinals. During 2-2, Phil Neville conceded that penalty. Romania beat us, and the beat us in the last World Cup in France. So our record against Romania in tournaments, not so much. I think we played in the I think it was 1970. So 1970, the last time we beat Romania in the major tournament. You know, we crashed out. Kevin Keegan was the manager, and massive drop off of our performance at the Euros 4 years prior, and then 4 years later, crash out of the group stage, and so far. In the video I just posted, it's our Euro performances, like instead of Euro 96 and Euro 68, we had a bad performance in Euro 80, 88, 92, and Euro 2000. So it's a trend of getting knocked out in the group stages. So this is probably the last time we got knocked out in a group stage of the Euros to this day, and also in this video. So let's move on to the next tournament. That is World Cup 2002. This is the start of the buzz of the golden generation. Even though you could say 98, back in Owen, and then Euro 2000, but this is like the part it's starting to be a thing for England. Steven Gerrard, Sol Campbell, Ashley Cole. Decent performance. I think we draw. I think we're in Group D or Group E. I think we're in Group E, Group F. I can't remember. I don't want to get into it. We'll draw alongside Sweden, Argentina, and Nigeria, draw against the Swedes, trying to, looking for our revenge against the Swedes because they knocked us out of the group stage of Euro 92. We drew 1-1, and then the game against Argentina. Beckham, because he got a lot of shtick after he stamped on Diego Simeone. He got booed. He kind of revived himself, when Ghana United to the treble in 99, 1 year later. But in the national team, it was a redemption for him to be a national hero, And also in that team, you had, for Argentina, you got future Leeds United manager Marcelo Bielsa, future Tottenham and Chelsea manager Mauricio Pochettino, and including he was managing Southampton and PSG in Espanyol. But Owen, hit the post. You got fouled by Mauricio Pochettino. Beckham scored that penalty, and it was England's first win against Argentina since 1966. Vanquished the demons of Mexico 86 and France 98. Drew against Nigeria, beat Denmark. The Brazil game, if one of them wins, will probably go on to win that year's World Cup. Owen scored the first goal. Rivaldo scored the equalizer. People talk about the Ronaldinho goal. That goal chipped over David Seaman. Nothing Seaman can do. He should have really jumped. And then, we got knocked out by the Brazilians. Don't get me wrong. They got like good players like Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos, Gilberto Silva. It was a brilliant Brazilian team. They went on to beat Germany in the final. So I don't know. If we really beat Brazil, it'll probably be our best performance in a major tournament or at a World Cup since Italia 90. So far since Italia 90, we'll get to one World Cup later. It's been average. It's been okay, but it could be a lot better. I think it's probably England's best performance. It's better England's performance at France 98 because we reached the quarterfinals. Even though it's not, it's a bad thing we didn't win, but I'm just saying it's a bit better than France 98. We should really, this is the hype of the start of this golden generation. That's the, we got some good crop of players. In that tournament, you got Beckham, Owen, Gerrard, Campbell, Cole, Seaman. He's a legendary goalkeeper. And this is Spain's first major tournament. So let's move on to the next tournament. That is Euro 2004 in Portugal. I don't say it's worse, but I say it's average. It's in Portugal. We're in Group B alongside France, Switzerland, and Croatia. The French game, we probably should have won it. Zidane stole the show, scoring a free kick and a penalty. And this was the start. We should have really won that tournament. We got a bunch of crop of players. Owen, Beckham, Gerrard, Lampard, Terry, Gary Neville, Sol Campbell, David James. The list goes on and on and on. This is Wayne Rooney's first major tournament. He had a good breakout performance. The Portugal game, wow, they should have really won. We were leading, and we busted it, and then we're throwing the lead. You had, I think it was Rudi Costa. Did he score twice? He scored twice. Lampard scored the equalizer. I think Campbell's goal was disallowed by, I think it was the Danish referee. And then, once again, this is the common trend at England in tournaments, penalty shootouts. Beckham missed that penalty. He missed that penalty in the opener against the French. I think he skied it, and then Darius Vassell missed that penalty. It was saved by Ricardo. Ricardo scored the decisive penalty to advance Portugal into the semi-finals. So, I don't recall a bad tournament, even though This is a year before. This is a couple of years before I become a football fan. You know, football's not my thing. Back in the day, I was not into it back then. Like David Beckham and Michael Owen, but not really a casual fan of football. I'm a football fan right now, but back then I was not a fan just yet. But I go back in these tournaments, for educational purposes. Wow, England in 2004 had a great team. Yeah, they should have really gone on to win that year's tournament. That was won by Greece. They knocked France in the. I think they beat Portugal in the opener, France in the quarterfinals, beat the Czechs, and then they beat Portugal again in the final and won it. Wow. And this was Cristiano Ronaldo's first major tournament. He went on to have a good career. For Wayne Rooney, it was probably, he kind of he kind of burst into the international scene with his performance at Euro 2004. So let's move on to the next tournament, the 2006 World Cup in Germany. This was basically my first memory as a football fan. Yeah, middle. I'll put it in the middle, man. It wasn't. It might before. We drew against Group B alongside Paraguay, Trinidad, Tobago, and Sweden. I remember it. And this was the last tournament of the England trying to get my words out. Yeah, this was England. The 2006 World Cup was England. This was the last tournament for the England golden generation of the Beckhams, Gerrards, Lampards, Gary Neville's and Cole, because they ended up retiring. It was really a shame. It was Sven Eriksson's last tournament as manager. It's a shame. His record, ever since he took over as England manager, becoming England's first foreign coach in 2001. World Cup 2002 quarterfinals, Euro 2004 quarterfinals, because this is 2006 was marking the 40th anniversary since we last won the World Cup, Anyway, it was an okay performance in the group stage, we won 1-0, 2-0, it's kind of fine. It wasn't terrible, it was okay. We drew against Sweden, Joe Coles. It's my first memory as a football fan. Early memories. I was 12 years old at the time. Really, after this World Cup, I got sucked into football. I became a football fan ever since. It's my early memory, England memory. Would be Ecuador in the last 16. Beckham's goal was really good. It's not in the same scenario as his free kick against Greece, but that was a really good free kick. I think he scored the similar goal against Paraguay in our opener, but it was dubbed as an own goal, but it's chalked off as an own goal. But that was Beckham's okay tournament. He had a good tournament. But besides that, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals once again by Portugal. On pens, like I said, the trend of England on losing on penalties. Wayne Rooney got sent off, stamping on Ricardo Carvalho, because I think the reason why he injured Rooney in the Premier League game. I think it was the game when Chelsea won the league for the second time. He injured his metatarsal bone in his foot. I think it was revenge, and then you got Ronaldo. The whole stuff with Rooney and Ronaldo. They were, part of the Manchester United team. You had the Ronaldo giving Rooney the wink, doing that, But I was really upset. We got knocked out on penalties. I thought, this is our year, I think we'll probably beat France, but we don't know about Italy, man. We probably could have the chance, but I don't think it was a bad performance at World Cup 06, but it wasn't terrible or great. It was in the middle. It was a fine performance, but once again, we got unlucky on penalties again. It's the luck of the draw, man. Nothing we can do. Move on to our next tournament because we didn't qualify for Euro 2008. Thank you, Steve McLaren. We got World Cup 2010 in South Africa. You could tell this was truly World Cup 2006 was the beginning of the end of this England golden generation. McLaren broke up that team pretty early, but you had some part. You still got. This is kind of like the end of this golden. This is in the post golden generation era because no Beckham, no Owen. You still got Rooney, Lampard, John Terry. Then you got Gareth Barry, who was a good player, but you can tell it's not the same. And this is probably England's worst performance in. Yeah, this has got to be England's worst performance at a World Cup in a long time. Probably since the 50s, in my knowledge, because I remember we got an easiest group. We draw alongside USA, Algeria, and Slovenia. During against the Yanks, Rob Green, couldn't, Butterfingers, letting that Clint Dempsey goal. Couldn't beat Algeria. We scraped past the goal against Slovenia, and then we qualify runners up in our group, and we'll advance into the last 16 against the Germans. Our first performance, I think this is England's first game against the Germans at a World Cup since Italia '90. Since then, we played at Euro '96 and Euro 2000. We got thrashed 4-1. Frank Lampard's goal disallowed. That was the birth of not VAR, goal line technology. I don't know, man. This was the only tournament managed by Fabio Capello. He took over after McLaren. We done well in the qualification campaign. I thought we're going to win it or go far in tournaments. Easiest group. I don't know. We'll probably win it. We'll probably reach the final, lose to Spain. We don't know, man. It's just like what ifs, man. But like if the Lampard goal was disallowed, or we went on to win it, don't know. But Germany was a good team, man. They got like Özil had a good tournament, Muller, Schweinsteiger, Podolski, Klose, who's also had a good tournament. He done well at the 2000. I think he done well in previous World Cups in 02 and 06. In the mid 2000s. Manuel Neuer, Khedira. That was a good German team. Don't S-rate Germany. They went on to got beat by Spain. I think it was probably Argentina, Brazil, England, probably Germany and France, and probably Italy were the holders, are the favorites. Spain, you can say you can put on the list because they just came off winning Euro 2008, but they went on to win the World Cup that year. Our performance was a bit poor. And it's like I think Capello should have got sacked. He continued to. He helped us qualify for Euro 2012, but he left before the tournament. So it was a bad tournament. I was leaving school, but at the time I won't start college until September. So my memory of that World Cup was a bit poor because we played poor. We should have really done much better, but unfortunately we didn't. So anyway, let's move on to the next tournament. We got Euro 2012. I can't say worst performance. I'm going to put it in the middle, average. This is the first tournament under Roy Hodgson. He took over after Fabio Capello left before the tournament. Average. I didn't really care less if we're going to win it. I don't think we're going to win it. I didn't have a good team. Like, Lampard got hurt. Cahill got hurt. They got a decent team, but I think we should have gotten into the semi-finals, but we got knocked out in the quarterfinals. Remember, we drew in Group D alongside France, Sweden, and the host Ukraine. It was a co-host tournament, Poland and Ukraine. That was so far the last co-host tournament to this day until Euro 2028. Anyway, and it was the last tournament under that 16 format before the current format of right now. Yeah. Drew against a weak French team, beat the Swedes. Probably our best performance in that tournament. Drew against scraped past Ukraine, but the Italians, we were once again penalty shootout. Look of the draw. It was really. I got the Euro 2012 ball. It's in my house. I don't know how much it costs. I think it cost me about 30 quid or something. But anyway, so it was an average tournament. If we really beat Italy, we'll probably get knocked out by Germany in the semi-finals. But okay performance. I think this. There's. You can tell like the golden generation is. You could say it's almost officially over, man. We got it's just like Glenn Johnson. We got Joe Hart. You could say he was okay back then. Just won the league title for Man City. But you had Glenn Johnson. It was the last. The next two tournaments will be the last tournaments for Gerard Lampard, the era of Gerard Lampard and Cole. Euro 2012 was John Terry's last tournament, because he ended up retiring from international football. I think it was a month later or 1 year later. So, yeah, he was getting on. I think he was in his early 30s, but yeah. Hudson's first tournament was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Anyway, the next two tournaments will end up being piss poor. Moving on to the next World Cup. It's in Brazil in 2014. Worse. It was in Brazil. At the time I was working. I was working at Langer Rock in Bezek. I watched some of the games of the tournament, like 1 a.m., 3 a.m. Don't do it because I got work, in the morning. Don't do that if you got work in the morning, man. It's a nightmare, man. I was falling asleep, Didn't got in trouble, but it's just like, yeah. We drew against Group D. I remember. I think we drew alongside Italy, Uruguay, and Costa Rica. It was basically a group of death because it was a group with former World Cup winners. We won the World Cup in '66. Italy are the four-time winners of the World Cup. And you got two-time winners, Uruguay, who just came off, finished fourth at the last World Cup in South Africa. I don't know. I didn't really care less about the World Cup in Brazil. I don't know. I didn't have an expectation going into this World Cup, in Brazil. We'll probably, I don't know. Probably quarterfinals, not semifinals, probably quarterfinals. But anyway, Hudson was an idiot, man. Lost to Italy because they knocked us out in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Not World Cup, the Euros, Euro 2012. And then Uruguay, I think it's our first meeting against Uruguay at a World Cup. I might be wrong about this. I think did Suarez score twice? I think it was Cavani and Suarez. I can't remember. It's been 10 years. I know Rooney scored his first World Cup goal, but Rooney was just kind of falling off the cliff. Rooney's career kind of fallen off the cliff, He had a good performance. This is his tournaments, he peaked at Euro 2004, World Cup 2006. Didn't score the goal. He didn't score any goals at that World Cup. He just came off. He was kind of fighting injury, come back from injury. Didn't qualify for Euro 2008. World Cup 2010, didn't score. He didn't perform. He scored once at Euro 2012, and now he scored once in this World Cup in Brazil. We got knocked out. Yeah, we got knocked out in the group stage. It's probably our worst performance at a World Cup in the modern era. Since probably it's the first time we got knocked out in the group stage of a World Cup since 1958. So that was bad. Roy Hodgson was a bit of an idiot. This was the end of the this is the last World Cups of Rooney, Gerard, Lampard, and Cole era. This is the part of players, You got some players who went on to do well under Gareth Southgate with Luke Shaw and Jordan Henderson, but you had some really players. You got Klein, you got some Leighton Baines, Phil Jagielka. It was really you got like Gerrard and Lampard were way past their best. You got players that are too young. You had Raheem Sterling. Who will be part of the Gareth Southgate era. But yeah, World Cup 2014 was poor. Lost to Italy 2-1. Lost to Uruguay 2-1. Couldn't beat Costa Rica. They had a good tournament. They beat Uruguay. They beat Italy. I never buy into this. If Italy beat Costa Rica, we got a slight chance of reaching the knockout stages. We're already out, man. We lost to Italy and Uruguay. Italy got Pirlo and Chiellini and Bonucci and Buffon. Uruguay got Suarez and Cavani and Jimenez and Godin. Not Jimenez and Godin, probably Godin. And you still had Diego Forlan. But Costa Rica, lost, drew against the Meadows, Costa Rica. That was bad in disgrace. How the fuck we didn't get past our group. In those two tournaments in World Cup 2010 and World Cup 2014 in the 2010, that was our bad performance at a FIFA World Cup, because World Cup 2010, we're very lucky to not get eliminated in the group stage. We scraped our group, and the World Cup in 2014, 4 years later, we crashed out. We should have really probably finished runners up. We'll probably get I don't know. I think if we manage to reach runners up, we'll probably get knocked out by Brazil in the quarterfinals. We'll probably beat we'll probably beat Colombia. After we'll probably get knocked out in the last 16. We don't know, man. It's just I didn't have any expectation going into the 2014 World Cup. Let's move on to the next tournament. I need to end the stream long. It's getting a little late. So anyway, the next tournament for an hour 12. Anyway, so the next tournament I'm going to talk about is Euro 2016. Terrible. That was Roy Hudson's final tournament as England manager. It's like the World Cup in 2010. We draw alongside, we're in Group B, Russia, Wales, Slovakia. We should have beat Russia. We can see that stupid equalizer. I think there was a bit of an explosion. I think it was just the Russian fans starting shit with the English fans. We beat Wales 2-1. Wales went on to have a good Euros. It was the first Euros of that format you see right now. They went on to reach the semi-finals. They beat Belgium, who at the time were the number one ranked team in world football. Anyway, we beat Wales 2-1, drew against Slovakia. In the last 16, we got Iceland. They're actually doing well in that tournament as well. We thought we were going to beat Iceland, advancing into the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, it was a bad tournament, man. We couldn't beat Iceland. People talk about the Iceland game of, almost 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, but I think the 2016 match was still hurt. It still hurts to this day. It was 8 years ago. We're leading by Wayne Rooney's penalty. Joe Hart was an idiot, man. Joe Hart was shit. He was declining. He was kind of overrated at this moment in time. You thought we never had we had some good goalkeepers trying to fill the forward of David Seaman. David James, you can tell, should be England number one much longer. He played in World Cup Euro 2004, World Cup 2010. You had Paul Robinson. They're trying to fill the void. Joe Hart trying to fill the void. He barely conceded any clean sheets. I think he had one clean sheet I checked. It was against Ukraine at Euro 2012. And he didn't play anything against Costa Rica, so he got two clean sheets in his whole time he played with England in a major tournament at Euro 2012 and Euro 2016. 2 clean sheets. But you could see that Gareth Bale free kick in the group stage of Euro 2016, and then against Iceland, he did it again. It's just Jack Bullen got hurt, nothing he can do, but he was crap. He was out of form. He's just like spaghetti arms. If that was any goal, if that was Jordan Pickford, I think Pickford could be able to save that. Or any goalkeeper could probably save that. The Bale shot, and I hard to pronounce those 2 Icelandic players who scored. I think it was that long throw and then that close range shot. And also with Roy Hodgson, he was an idiot. This was the first tournament with Harry Kane. This generation's not quite there yet. First tournaments of Harry Kane and Kyle Walker. They're not, they'll do well under the Gareth Southgate era. We'll get to that pretty damn soon. So anyway, Roy Hodgson resigned after we lost to Iceland. He was an idiot anyway, man. He should have got sacked after the World Cup in Brazil. But it was. I think it was to this day in this video right now. It's the only time. That was the. I'll get to Euro 2024 in a future video, probably at on my new channel, not this channel. But it was. This is the last time in this stream that we played badly at a major tournament. So moving on to the Gareth Southgate era. So let's move on to World Cup 2018 in Russia. This is probably our best performance at a World Cup since 1990. It's my early memories as an English fan. So far as an English fan, World Cup 26. World Cup 2006 crashed out in the quarterfinals by Portugal on penalties. Didn't qualify for Euro 2008. Horrifying campaign in South Africa 2010. Average performance at Euro 2012 in Poland, Ukraine. Horrifying tournaments in World Cup 2014 and Euro 2016. The 2018 World Cup, I have no exposition. Gareth Southgate in charge. The guy who managed Middlesbrough, got them relegated. He managed the under 21. A couple of years back, he's managing the under 21s. Now he's the England manager after Sam Allardyce. And this tournament, going into this, we drew alongside Belgium, Tunisia, and Panama. We beat Tunisia 2-1. Harry Kane's last-minute goal. We thrashed Panama 6-1. Lost against Belgium. We played all right against Belgium. We should have beaten them. But not beaten them, but we should have got something out of that Belgium game. And then the Colombia game was the turning point. I didn't have no exposition with Gareth Southgate in England. Fed up. I think we were leading 1-0 by Harry Kane's penalty, and then Yerry Mina, who went on to go to Everton that summer, scored the equaliser. And then we got that penalty shootout. Oh my God. Penalty shootouts as an England fan in my lifetime. Portugal 2006, Italy in 2012, now Colombia in 2018. When Henderson missed that penalty, I'll go, once again, penalty shootout, heartbreak. But instead, Jordan Pickford, man of the match, stepped up, saved, I think it's a Uribe, and I think it was Boca penalty. Actually, Boca's penalty was hitting the bar. And Eric Dyer, when Eric Dyer scored that winning penalty, I go, yes! It was my memory, man. Because I was 24 at the time, we beat Sweden with ease, and we thought, this is it. Is football coming? Is it coming home? Unfortunately, we got knocked out by Croatia in the semi-finals. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Don't get me wrong. That Croatian team was good with Perisic, Modric, Mandzukic, and Rakitic. It got me thinking. I think actually, if we beat Croatia, we'll probably lose to France in the final. But it's our best performance at a World Cup since 1990. But it was really good. It was really good memory for me. You know, watching it. I watched the World Cup final in the pub at Witherspoons. But I really wear my England shirt throughout the tournament. It was my memory. It's my first memory. My not first memory, but I realized it was a turning point. Really get behind the nation. Before is football coming home. We almost did it. We finished fourth, lost to Belgium in the third place playoff. But that Colombia game was a turning point, and I think Gareth Southgate kind of really made us believe a bit. That's a future video on Gareth Southgate, but yeah. So let's move on to the next tournament. Well, Euro 2020 or Euro 2021 because it was postponed due to COVID. This is my opinion and some people's opinions. This has got to be our best performance at the Euros so far. You could say football is kind of coming home because it was hosted in cities, the finals at Wembley. We drew in Group D, drew alongside Croatia, Scotland, and Czech Republic. Beat Croatia. It was an okay win. I did a video of Rans. We're doing in Scotland. We're going to get beat by Czech Republic because Patrick Schick, I can't pronounce his name, scored that chip against the Scots, or against Croatia. I think it was Scotland or Croatia, I can't remember. But we beat Czech Republic 1-0. We got the Germans, I did I did some live streams of that Euros, to the final, to the group, the opening game, Italy, Turkey, to the final itself, the Germany game, only in the second half, when Raheem Sterling scored that goal, I go, yes! And Harry Kane, I thought Muller was going to score the equaliser. He missed, and then did the middle finger, the Germans, it's probably our first win against the Germans since Euro 2000. It's my memory because what's the last time we're going to beat Germany at a major tournament? Beat Ukraine 4-0. I did the Denmark. I covered the Denmark semi-final. Also, I watched Italy, Spain. That was a really good tournament. That last Euros is way better than this Euros, in my opinion. But yeah, when we beat Denmark, seeing Sweet Caroline, I thought this is it. Football has come home. 55 years of hurt. 55 years. Playing against Italy, Luke Shaw, and then Italy. Don't get me wrong, Italy are no mugs, man. They've got like Insigne, Bonucci, Chiellini, Chiesa's, making a name for himself. Unfortunately, he's not doing well right now compared to 3 years ago. But once again, penalty shootout. Well, I'm kind of confident of the penalty shootout, because we beat Colombia in the last World Cup. I think we beat Switzerland in the third place playoff in the First Nations League. Now we're in the major final, first major final since 1966. Rashford missed that penalty shot. He didn't miss the target. Sancho Saka got racial abuse. You can watch the documentary on Netflix, but bit angry, and it's my memories. I'm not gonna get because I was not old enough to see Italian 90. I wasn't born in Italian 90. Wasn't old enough of Euro 96. But mostly I've seen as a youth, we get knocked out on penalties, whether it's the group stage, or not the group stage, the quarterfinals, and the last 16 stage of a major tournament of a World Cup and the Euros. And now in the late 2010s and the early 2020s, I really enjoy England in the major tournament. It's probably our best performance in the major tournament. We're competing, we're competitors. We reached the semi-finals of the World Cup. We just now reached the finals of the Euros. I thought football has really one day could come home. We got a good young crop of talent. We got Harry Kane. We got Raheem Sterling. Maguire was doing well. Pickford was doing well. You know, Southgate, is kind of like, not in the Southgate out train. It'll get better. It'll get like internet. It will lean in more negative. We'll move on to the final tournament. As an English fan, in this video, World Cup 22 in Qatar. Middle. Okay tournament. Southgate got a lot of shtick after the Nations League debacle. Like, don't get me wrong, his two tournaments, World Cup 2018 and Euro 2020, was Southgate's best performance. He dropped off. This tournament was a drop off, in quality. Drawing against Iran, USA, Wales. We beat Iran with ease. Drawing against the USA, we should have beaten them. They should have beat us, actually. And now we beat Wales. 3-0 with ease. We beat Senegal with ease, but the French game, don't get me wrong, we pushed France. We did well against France. Like with Chouameni could score that first goal. After that, we kind of perked up. We had chances. Bellingham shot was saved by Lloris. Harry Kane scored the first penalty to equalise. Giroud scored probably the winning goal. You see this on the screen right now. Harry Kane missing that penalty. I thought we're gonna probably win, like Denmark, winning in extra time. Don't know about penalties, but Harry Kane skied his penalty over the crossbar, and France went on to win that game. If we really beat France on that night in December, it was the only World Cup to this day to play in the November-December time. In the winter time instead of the traditional summertime, in that June-July time. But like, I think we'll probably beat Morocco. They went on to have a good World Cup. I think we'll get knocked out once again, or we'll probably get beat by Argentina in the final again. So if we would have won against France and beat Morocco in the semi-finals, I could go cool. He's knocking the door. Bridesmaid, never the bride. We kind of like competing. But I don't want to talk about the World Cup of not the World Cup, the Euros of this time in 2024. So far it's bad. We beat Serbia 1-0, but drew against Denmark and Slovenia. We're playing Slovakia. We don't know. I might do a feature video on that tournament. And the similar video I'm doing right now, 2 years time in 2026. So. We've got 4 good. The best is 66, 1990, 96, 2018, 2021. The middle are 70, 68, 82, 86, 98, 02, 04, 06, 2012, and 2022. The worst were 80, 88, 92, 2000, 2010, 2014, and 2016. So I think that's it. So that's it, man. That's probably the last footballing video on the channel. I'm gonna, like I said at the start of this video, I'm gonna start a new channel called Central Man Sports. I'm gonna be covering football, rugby, whether it's rugby union or rugby league, and American sports. Wrestling will be mostly on the main channel, but I'm probably starting this channel the new channel next week, and it'll be good. So anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed this video, folks. It took me nearly an hour and a half. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, smash that button, and subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, part of the Central Unit, for more wrestling videos and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.